Alright, and we're back, because you pressed play, I hope. Alright, so again, we're going back to this one. I erased the stuff over there in the corner because it was kind of floating on over to the other side. I didn't want to be in the way. We started doing LCMs on the other side. And again, what's an LCM? Least common multiple. Exactly. I'm sure I heard that somewhere out there in cyberspace. Alright, so what's the first thing we're going to do right here in this problem? Over here, we multiply by the least common multiple. See? 24. Right there. Alright, so we're going to do 12 and 7 and figure out what our least common multiple is. So I got my 12 and I got my 7. And I'm going to break them both down. 12 we've broken down into, we'll say 6 and 2. Because it's 3 and 4. Doesn't really matter. Over here you got the 7 and 1, or 7, it becomes 7 and 1. And that 6 still has to be broken down. So what if I need a different color? One with green. So 6 gets broken down into 3 and 2. Now I look on both sides. I like to separate my trees, see what's going on. I have 3, 2, and 2 on one side, and 7 and 1 on the other. Do we have any repeating numbers on both sides, like we did last time? No. So we're going to use all of our numbers. We'll come back over here to the left so I don't have to erase again. Alright, so 3 times 2 times 2 times 7 times 1. Which we really don't need the 1 because it's multiplying it by 1, really. Alright, we know that 3 times 2 times 2 is 12 because it's right there. So we're saying basically 12 times 7. What is that? Listening. 12 times 7. 84. I heard it somewhere. Alright, so 84. Woohoo. Alright, so we're going to multiply each side by 84. I'm not going to rewrite it again this time like I did before. Your answer should be really quick to me when I ask now, since you did these two problems while I was on call. You did, right? I hope so. Alright, so you multiply by 84. What we're going to get, as I'm looking at my work, I got 7y equals 48. 7y equals 48. Alright. So what do you do there? Well, first I'm going to change colors. I'm feeling purple. That sounds good, yeah. Alright, so we're going to divide by 7 on both sides. Take 7 off the y side. So y equals, 48 over 7. That's it. 48 over 7. Alright, so now we're on the final one over here. I'm going to keep my purple going for right now. And we're going to do our LCM. So let's do the LCM of this right here, okay? We got 50 and 15. When you break them down, you've got 25 and 2, and 15 goes to 3 and 5. 2 is done. You can't move 2 down anymore. But your 25, you can break that down. I'm going to go to a lighter blue. Feels good to me. Alright, sounds good. That feels good. That was weird. Alright, so 25 is 5 times 5, right? Yeah. We're going to separate our trees. Do we have any numbers repeated on both sides? Absolutely, we have those 5. We have 2 on this side and 1 on the other. So we're going with a bigger number. Cross out that little one. So we got 5 times 5 times 2, which is 50, times 3. When I do 25, 50, 75, I like to think of them in terms of money. So for 50, that would be 2 quarters. If I multiply it by 3, how many is that? 6 quarters. So 6 quarters is $1.50. We all know that. So 50 times 3 is 150. Or unless you don't work, you're mad up. Excuse me. I did this in class every time, don't I? Alright. If your mind doesn't work in money, which is fine, 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 5 is 15. 150 is what you get. So, again, our least common multiple is 150. So we're going to multiply each side by 150. Ta-dum! 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 There's my 0. Alright, so after you multiply by the 150, I have 54 on this side and 10m on this side. Go ahead and do the pink, because I feel like we can see pink on this page. Now, what do you do to get that m by himself? See, the 10 is multiplied by m. Remember, we do the opposite to get them off. So 10m divided by 10 will save our m from that evil 10, because our variables are loners. They don't like friends. Alright, so you've got this right here, 54 divided by 10. What's the number that goes into both? 2. So 2 will go into 5 how many times? 2. So you got 2. Then you're left with 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Over, and then 2 will go into 10 what? 5 times, exactly. So that way we have reduced our fraction, and our answer is 27 over 5 equals m. Now, you see how over here the x is on the left and y is on the left? We like to have our variables on the left. So I'm just going to rewrite this one so I feel happy about having my variable on the left. 27 over 5, and there's your answer. That's simple. Once I figure out what page we're on. Alright, we were still on slide 8 of a few more. Alright, you can use the multiplication property of equality to prove an important property of proportions. If A over B equals C over D, then AB, or A over B times B over, okay, then, go back here because I can't read, A over D times BD equals C over D times BD. So we're right here, coming in to look, A, B, D, C, B, C, B, D, over D. So it's canceling out your B's, right? See how it's canceling those out? It's canceling out your D, flop, flop, flop. And AD equals CB, or AD equals BC. See, this is the same thing as that one, we just put the D in front. Because when you look at the alphabet, B comes before C, so it makes sense. CB kind of looks silly. Alright, the products AD and BC, right here, are the cross products of the proportion A over B equals C over D. Now, how many, after reading that little bit, understood, I'll left it for you, how many understood exactly what that meant? My hand's not up either. Well, it is now because I'm showing it to you, but when I see that, I get very confused. So I'm thinking that some of y'all are pretty confused too. So let's go on and look more at the concepts, and then we'll actually practice it. And when I actually have numbers in front of me instead of random letters, it makes a whole lot more sense to me. So let's look at the cross, right here, the cross products of proportion. If A over B equals C over D, then AD equals BC. So it's saying that these two will equal, and those two will equal. See, cross products across like that, or that, and right now we're going with the X kind of cross. Alright, so an example will be 2 over 3 equals 8 over 12. So 2 times 12 equals 3 times 8. See that? We're going to cross from 2 to 12 and 3 to 8. What's 2 times 12? 24. What's 3 times 8? 24. Check that out. They equal. I was itching. Notice that for a proportion, the product of the extreme AD, that's our extremes, AD, equals the product of the means, BC. Remember we talked about extreme and means a little bit earlier in this little video. The cross products property is also called the means extremes property of proportions, because you got the extreme and the mean. Keep going. Alright, using cross products, now we get to see like huge numbers. Okay, not really. It's like 354, 55. They're not big. Alright, so we're going to see how this cross product stuff works. Pay attention. Nutrition. A box of cereal weighing 354 grams contains 20 grams of fat. Oh my god, I'm just kidding. Alright, find the number. Oh, well, I can't read it if I change the page again for the 30th time in the same video. Alright, so right here at find. Find the word find. Okay. Find the number of grams of fat in the recommended serving size of 55 grams. So we've got the weight right here is 54. The fat is 20. What we want to know is how much fat, right here, how much fat is in a 55 gram serving size. So we cross multiply. We say this is equal to that, and this is equal to, or these should multiply equal the other side. I said that completely wrong. But anyway, you'll see in a second. Multiplying 354 times x, which is right there. And we're going to do 55 times 20, which is right there. Right cross products. 354 times x is 354x, of course. And then 55 times 20 is 1100, as you can see right here. And then you're going to divide your 354 off of your x. Remember, they like to be by themselves, those longer variables. We divide that 1100 by 354, which gives us an approximation. So it's approximately 3.1. So a 55 gram serving has about 3.1 grams of fat. Nice. Now you've seen me. I probably wouldn't eat anything that's just 55 grams. I probably would eat the whole box. But anyway, that's just me. Moving on. Alright, so quick check. Yep, that's right. We're doing the first one together. You're doing the other two while you pause me in my pause space. And then you'll turn back on and see how you did. First, we've got x over 4 equals 25 over 12. So, you see if I've got my pen all crooked or spun around. Alright, there we go. I can write again. Yay. I'm going to keep this green going. I'm kind of liking it. Alright, so we're cross multiplying. So we're going to cross these two and these two. We're going to say they're equal to each other. We're going to say 12 times your x equals 25 times 4. That gives us 12x on this side equals, and here we go with the 25 and 4. Me again, I use my money thought. So 4 quarters is $1, which 25 times 4 is 100. Now you gotta divide, let me switch colors, I've used green a lot in this little section. Divide by 12 on both sides. Cross out the little 12 on this side. So x is by itself is even longer, yet again. Then you got 100 over 12. When I look at those, I know that 2 goes into both because they're even. But what number just went into 25? 4. Does that go into 12? Yes, it does. So 4 into 100 again is 25. And 4 goes into 12 how many times? 3. Excellent. Alright, so x equals 25 over 3. Now you try. I want you to try this b here, and then I want you to try c here. As I fix my pen. Okay, that's good. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and move on. Because I'm hoping that you paused. I should have scratched my nose to pause. You pause. Not that I can pause myself exactly. Alright, so again, we're going to be cross multiplying here, saying they're equal. So you have 5 times y, and 24 times 7. So that gives you 5y equals, then 24 times 7. Me, I gotta work it out. I don't know how you are. So I'm going to say 24 times my 7. 7 times 4 is what? 28, that's right. Then you have 7 times 2 is 14, plus that 2 is 16, so 168. Bam. Look at that. Oh, let me switch my color again. Let's see. I'm going to get a black. How about that? Alright, so then we're going to divide by 5 and y. That's right, Brenda. We want that y by himself because he's a loner. So y equals, I don't think I broke it down any farther than that. Or did I? No. What? Oh, I'm on the wrong page. No wonder. I'm looking to see what's going on and I'm on the wrong page. That just figures. Alright. So it's 168 over 5. I don't think that broke down anymore. But for those of you who like your fractions turned into decimals, because you're weird like that, I don't like the decimal stuff. I told you before, it freaks me out a little bit. Your answer would actually be 33.6. I bet a bunch of you out there went, yes, a decimal. She actually heard a decimal. Yeah, shush. Alright, let's move on to the next problem on this page. I want to pick another color, so it's entirely these 10 colors. Alright, we're going to go to like a whitish blue again. Alright, so we're doing the multiplying back and forth. We're going to say 54 times 64 equals 72D. I'm just going to go ahead and put it without my little parentheses this time. Alright, so 54 times 64. I'm going to work that out over here on the corner too. 54, 64. 4 times 4 is what, guys? Yep, 16. Carry a 1. 4 times 5 is 20, so that's 21. Bring our 0 down for our placeholder. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry my 2, because we're not using the 1 anymore. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 2 is 32. I'm going to add that together. We got multiplication sign. Alright, so bring down your 6. 4 and 1 is 5. 2 and 2 is 4. And then you bring down your 3. So you get 3,456 equals 72D. Divide by 72 on both sides. And let's see, I'll go back to red. Mark it out with 72. That gives me D equals, and what did I get? 48. 48, guys, because I used my calculator. I cheated, I know. Now, again, what do we like putting on the left? We got X on the left, a Y on the left, and 48. You like having the variables on the left. Let's go ahead and switch that real quick. D equals 48. And there you have it. Next slide, please. Stop. Alright, in example 6, which is right here, that star came out really terrible, but you've seen my drawing before, so that's pretty much what it looks like. Anyway, in example 6, the ratios that form the proportion have variable expressions with more than one term. See, like you got this whole, like, two things going on here on the top here. Instead of just one number or one variable. You got an addition problem and a subtraction problem on top in the numerator. To solve for a variable, you'll use cross products and the distributive property. Remember, the distributive property is when you have, let's say, 7 outside of x plus 3. And you distribute that 7 to both, which gives you 7x plus 21. That's what you're going to do down here. So switching colors, I'm tired of using red. Tired of blue and green too, but they're better than the red. Alright, so you see how this was written down here? You're going to cross multiply, as you see done in this line. Cross products. Cross products. What's the same as cross multiply? Okay, so this was distributed in pop, 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 pop. So you get 7x plus 28, because 7 times 4 is 28, and then 5x minus 10. Now, it says subtract 5x from each side. That's what they did. They said minus 5x here, and minus 5x over here. And we'll cross out them, so he's gone. You got 2x. See? 5 minus 7 is 2. Plus 28 equals 10. And what it says here is you subtract 28 from each side, so minus 28. Minus 28. So get it up there. So cross them out. We got 2 left. 2x comes right down here. Equals negative 38. What they do is divide by 2. Why they didn't write all this stuff out, I don't know. They were lazy. And look, our learner variable, little x, is by himself all over again. And 2 will go into negative 38 negative 19 times. So x equals negative 19. Pretty simple, right? Same thing we just did, just adding a little extra step for distributive property. My main man distributive property. I'm talking silly because I gotta scroll down and get to the next page. Alright, quick check. We're already at a quick check, guys. How exciting is this? I know. So I'm changing colors. Alright, I'm using pink because I can. Alright, so we're going to cross multiply this side first. I like putting my numbers outside of the distributive property. They had it kind of inside, on the opposite side of it. I don't like that very much. It's hard for me. I mean, it's the same thing, the exact same thing, but in my little visual self, I like to see it this way. Alright, so 14x on this side. We only have to do distributive property on one side. How about that? I'm on the green. So multiplying 10 by x and 10 by 2. That gives us 10x plus 20 equals 14 over x. Or not over x. What am I talking about, guys? Whoa. Alright, so 14x. There we go. 14 times the x. Now, what can we do? Exactly right. I'm going to pretend like Brittany said this. Thanks, Brittany. We're going to subtract 10x from both sides. Alright, let's mark that out. Alright, so we've got 20 equals, and 14 minus 10 is what? 4. Absolutely. 4x. Now we do something else. What do we do to get that x by itself? Trying to change colors and it was not working. Yes, we divide by 4. That's just be equal. I don't know why it looks funny. Divide by 4 on both sides. I'm marking out. That gives me 5 equals x. And what did I say about variables? They want to be liners and they like the left side. I'm going to write that again. X equals 5. I get that equal sign to ever figure out how to write itself. Alright, so x equals 5 is that first one. While I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to stop being tongue-tied, I'm going to have you go ahead and do B and C by yourself. And then we'll learn them together. You better be doing these on your own. These last two. God. Okay. I don't know why I know this is every time I get in my call state. Alright, so let me switch colors again. Because it's just fun to change colors every now and then. Alright, so we're doing this side first. So 7 multiplied by y minus 15. And then we're going this way. Equals, I'm going to put 35 in front, times y plus 4. Alright, so we're going to distribute in here. Let's use a different color. Let me go back and do that now. I'll go back to green. Just because it's fun to distribute with green. Alright, so 7y, or 7 times y is 7y. 7 times negative 15, I wrote it down because I need to remember it. And you know, I still forgot to turn the page. How bad is that? Alright, so 7 times 15 is 105.
What? Do you know what question you will read?